Hi, my name is Milan. I'm from milansmotorcycles.com, and today I would like to introduce myself, and I would like to talk about something what I love for many years, for last few decades, and I would like to talk about the one particular motorcycle what Harley-Davidson made in 1942. But before I do that, I would like to say a couple things about myself. As you can tell from my accent, I was born on the other side of the world under communism in Czechoslovakia under the Cold War, and my first Harley-Davidson motorcycle was Army 45, and in them days, which was late 1970s, I heard about that Harley-Davidson made opposed twin, drive shaft model looking like the BMW motorcycle, but I have never seen one. Internet didn't exist. No documentation, so it sounded like a fairy tale story. Well, years later, we're standing here today, and we are going to be actually discussing this topic of 1942 Harley-Davidson XA. Now, where do I come from? Like I said, I come from Czech, and me and my brother escaped in 1983, which was still Cold War, an old WLC 1942 Harley-Davidson. We crossed the border over to Austria, ended up in refugee camp, and eventually ended up in Canada. Well, in Canada, got into open up a chopper shop years later. Then it turned into full-fledged Harley-Davidson motorcycle franchise. And of course, went to the Harley-Davidson Motor Company's factory training center and did my journeyman motorcycle paperwork, passed all the exams and so on, and became full-fledged Harley-Davidson dealer. Owned the Harley-Davidson dealership for about a little over 10 years or so. But in the meantime, I came across first one in 1986. It was 1942 Harley-Davidson XA. Just sort of the same model like you see in front of me here. It is true they made them. To some of you, it might not be surprised, but to some of you, you never seen it. So I want to tell you a couple things about it today. My plan is that not only I will talk about it a little bit briefly today, but my plan is in future to tell you about various components, various modifications, changes, design improvements, new parts we're working on, the parts we're building. We sell parts, we trade parts, we deal with people from all over the world. There is quite a few enthusiasts who love Harley-Davidson XAs. They are super rare model, and we are here to basically help with and assist with knowledge and with the parts. So as you can see on this motorcycle, it has a standard handlebars very similar as the 45 WLA model. There was some minor differences. The front end, it's about 2 inches longer, extra extended. And they use these special brackets for compensation of the longer front end. There was a left and right side of these brackets. They're a little different. As you can see, the headlight, it's a little different. The blackout light for the Army. And then we have the sort of looking like a WLA standard luggage rack with different braces on the bottom. It was the first year when they used the suspension, the rear suspension, and of course the drive shaft. That was the first model what Harley-Davidson put a drive shaft on. Now what happened going back to 1941, on March 12th, 1941, the US government, the Army Department issued a contract to Harley-Davidson Motor Company to custom build 1,000 of these motorcycles. Now what are these motorcycles? What is it? Where's the basis? Where's the design? Where did it come from? Well, it's really originally came from Germany, and it's a copy of BMW. Some say BMW R12, some say BMW R75, which it's not important, but the idea was taken from Europe, and the motorcycle was basically redesigned. It was changed from metric into standard. Now, you would think that they just changed the dimensions and all the parts will fit. Well, that's not the case, because pretty much nothing fits. From the BMW into the Harley-Davidson XA, almost none of the parts really fit. Different carburetors, different exhaust, different frame, different front end, different speedo, different seat, By the way, this seat, it's WLA seat, it's not original XA because the original XA was, the nose was chopped off, the seat was a little shorter and it was sitting closer. Now, what happened that on March 12, 1941, the government awarded 1,000 contract for 1,000 of these motorcycles to be built. Now, the production started in January of 1942, and all the motorcycles, all 1,000, were finished by July of 1942. So within 6-7 months, all 1,000 motorcycles were built for the US Army government. Now, the serial numbers, what they started stamping on the engine cases, the first one was 42 XA 1000. Then it was 1001, it went up to a couple thousand. That was the first batch of the XAs. There was XAs built at later date with modifications, for example, with disc wheels for the African campaign for testing. There were 15-inch, 5.5 by 15-inch disc wheels. There was only 70 sets ever built. These wheels are quite rare, very difficult to find. We're actually working on reproducing these wheels as we speak because we do have a couple wheels, whatnot, but we don't have enough for our own motorcycles. Some of these wheels will become, of course, available in future for sale. So that's kind of briefly about the model and about how it all happened when they were built. Now in later videos, we will tell you a little more details, not only about the motorcycle, but as I mentioned, about various parts which we produce. You can look up on our website. You can contact us through our website, www.milansmotorcycles.com. I thank you for your time today, and we will see you in the next video.